This is Collins Onyango, the CEO and the founder of CTG Chicken Shop Limited Company, located in Muhoroni within Kisumu County. And this is agriculture money. We work with the poultry value chain actors to, number one, strengthen their system of engagement with farmers, strengthen their system of engagement with the markets that are there, and as well try to come up with good avenues on how they can push this, what they're doing as a business or as an enterprise, to move to another level. So through the company, I can say we've done a lot of support to the farmers. So with the little savings, we started at the production level, where we only used to produce at the farm back there at home. I could produce, then sell fertilized eggs to such kind of enterprises, the hatcheries that were within Kisumu. Upon seeing the opportunity that these fertilized eggs, they can always have a market, and on the other end, they add value to them, because we used to sell to them fertilized eggs at 20 bob. But on the other end, after doing value addition of incubating them into chicks, they could now sell them at a price of 80 to 90. So I looked into the same business model, said, why would I produce, then on the other end, give it out, while this is also an opportunity I can get into. So with the few support I could get from them, because I'm somebody who love learning new things, so while I could do with them business, I was very keen to know what are the nitty-gritties in this business. So I can really appreciate, through the networks I had with the guys I was doing with business, while I was supplying them with the fertilized eggs to be hatched into chicks, I learned the whole management part of it, the whole what we call hatchery management business. Okay, number one reason why I would say poultry, because one, poultry it requires little space when one wants to do it as a project. I will give you a case of somebody wants to do 100 chickens, somebody wants to do 100 cows. If you look at the space that these two different types of projects will require, then poultry will require little space. Number two reason why I'll talk of poultry, poultry is the cheapest source of protein that we have currently in our country. If we look at the sources of proteins, we have the fish, meat, but if you look at their costing, or they are very expensive. And you know, Kenya as a country, I can talk of us being a third world country, whereby a good number of people are towards the tail end. So accessing these source of proteins has been a challenge, and we realize that apart from doing it as a business, we are trying to solve a certain nutrition gap in the community. Another last thing about poultry, poultry has got short production period. That is between, if we talk of broilers, it can be produced between 4 to 5 weeks. It's ready for meat. While we check on dairy, piggery, and even other projects in the animal value chain, they take longer than 6 to almost 9 months. Okay, the business has got circles, and the first circle comes in when we produce the fertilized eggs. We have a flock, that's what we call a parent stock. It's a composition of both hens and cocks, where we ensure the ratio of cocks to hens is 1 against 7 to 10. That is to mean 1 cock against 7 hens, 8 or 9, or on a maximum of 10 hens. We are targeting to have fertilized eggs. So while we collect the fertilized eggs from the farm, we bring them to the machines. Here we have the machines. Here we have both the incubators and the hatchers. Before being fed into the machine, they need to have some bare minimum of conditions for them to be fed to the machine. First, the eggs that are being fed to the machine should not stay for more than 7 days. The eggs that are collected for less than 7 days. Secondly, these eggs should be handled with the clean hands, so like under clean environment. That is the hygiene. Then thirdly, these eggs needs to be eggs that have not been subjected to a condition or a temperature that is above 30 degrees, you know. Yeah, so if they're if they're subjected to a condition above that, then it also denatures the living thing in them, and this is to mean they're not going to be viable. Then upon them attaining almost all or 90% of these conditions, we feed them to the machine. At the machine point, they take 21 days to hatch into chicks, you know. So after 21 days, they come out as day-old chicks, where now we start brooding them. So before they develop that feathers, which comes at a point of the 3rd week of growth, we do what we call intrusion of an artificial source of heat that will help them balance their body temperature. So the brooding goes from day 1 to the 4th week. From that point now, they can just stay, or they can just survive in a novel environment without heat, and can just survive like any other chicken. From our side, we start selling as from day 1, a week old, 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old, a month old, 2 months old, 3 months old. We sell at whichever stage. The biggest challenge is the high cost of feeding. That is one. With the high cost of feeding, we have farmers that are doing maize farming, we have farmers that are doing soybeans farming. So we at some point we amalgamate all these, then we do aggregation. We have aggregation points where we can aggregate maize, sacks of maize. We have a time we can aggregate soybeans. Then through this we try and make our own made local feeds. So as much as we will go for the commercial feeds, but now to some extent we have a subsidy somewhere. Yeah, this one is to at least ensure that we remain in business all the time, or all through we be in business. Because poultry feeds have been so tricky to an extent, a good number of farmers have withdrawn from this project. We have a lot of poultry products or chicken that are coming all the way from Uganda. And as we also understand that production cost on the other end has been a bit has been easier, because the Ugandan government tried to subsidize a lot in terms of the cost they incur in producing all these birds, or in doing this activity of production. So we realize that there is more intrusion that are coming into the country, and this comes with a low costing. You know, you realize that a day-old goes here at around 80 or 90. On the other end, it comes at a cost of 60 or 70. We've tried to surmount it by having more production in terms of volumes. It's a challenge, but through the two approaches, where we have the locally made feeds, and as well we have large production of these particular chicks, then we realize that we are trying to somewhere solve this, so we can manage to lower our price by 10, so that they're only cheaper than us by either 5 bob or 10 bob. So it's a margin that kidogo, it's not that significant, you know.